Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Karim. I have Dr. Mohamed Ghilan with me today. Very excited to have him on the show. We're going to be talking about one of your favorite subjects too, right, Dr. Mohammed's consciousness?
Conscious. I have a love-hate relationship with it, if you can be more accurate in the description.
So my understanding of consciousness is it's not necessarily like my self-consciousness, right? Like, oh, you're a self-conscious person. But my understanding of consciousness is really about this subjective, qualitative perspective that any person has.
So, in the field of the study of consciousness, there's really no agreed upon definition of what consciousness is.
Right.
What you present is one kind of take on it. I guess it'd be one of the dominant ones that they define it as such. The most famous example of that is Thomas Nigel, What It's Like to Be a Bat.
Right.
That essay that he wrote about it, and it's in the sense that you can't actually experience or think about or conceptualize what it's like to be a bat until you are a bat. But generally speaking, there is a debate about, is it really a qualitative experience? Is it a quantitative experience masquerading as a qualitative experience? Is it even there as opposed to just an illusion?
Right.
And one of the examples they give you is like a sunset. It looks like the sun is setting, but that's an illusion. The sun is not setting. It's just that the earth is rotating around its axis and is giving you the appearance of the sun setting.
Right.
But it doesn't actually exist as such. And so consciousness is maybe something like that. Is consciousness an emergent property where the constellation of neuronal activity in the brain coming together results in an emergent property that we call consciousness, which is the subjective awareness? Is it identical with neuronal activity? So that's another example. That's another take on it. Is it just it's like a property theory where neural activity results in a quantitative measurable thing that we can investigate, and at the same time it results in a conscious experience that maybe it's not privy to our measurement tools yet. And that's really the key thing here. Yet technology hasn't advanced to the level where we can do it. The question I ask is, how can you start to investigate something that you haven't even defined properly yet?
Right.
There's no agreement on. I mean, you go to any scientist or any philosopher that works with this problem of consciousness, the first thing that they will tell you is how they define it. And then they go about the answers that they provide you. And it's basically just becomes a matter of who has the largest following, who has the best rhetoric, who can articulate their case the best based on their subjective definition of what they say consciousness is. And then everybody buys into that. But the al-bidayat alamatun nihayat, as Ibn Ata'illah Secondary says, like the beginnings are signs of the end. It really depends on how you define this issue to start before we can jump to conclusions and talk about what it is. So a lot like Daniel Dennett, for example, his approach to consciousness is really an attentional theory. He'll show you images that are identical, separated by a span of time, milliseconds usually, and then he'll ask you, what did you catch and what didn't you catch? And then he'll show you the differences between the two images, and that's to him how he explores the problem of consciousness. Based on this definition, it really relies upon sensory experience. And so if you have a deficiency in your sensory experience, then you have deficiency in your consciousness.